Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm the Knight and I will be covering up, as I said before in my previous video, the team composition. Now basically, what is an ideal composition? First of all, composition means the setup of your team. So depending on what classes you got in your team, that is your average composition. Now I will be going through all 8 classes and just explain a bit why they're a must in your team and when or how they're not. So some classes are a must, some classes are more of a consideration, other classes aren't as good to use in TPvP, but it's all depending on the enemy team. Sorry. So basically, first of all, the Elementalist. Now, I do want to say in this upcoming Tournament of Legends number 2, I have to be honest, I'm not gonna say any names or the name of the team, but there will be one very famous team. Well, they were famous, but I bet there still are. They will use 2 elementalists in their team. One elementalist will be a dagger one, and the other one will be a staff healing / bunker one. So basically, it's perfectly possible to use 2 classes inside the same composition. So when it comes to using 2 same classes in one composition, I suggest using either 2 elementalists, or if you only want to use 1 elementalist, it's also good to go for 2 warriors. Now for the LAs, there are 2 builds which are very viable for TPvP, which is the dagger one and the staff bunker / healing one. Both of them are on my YouTube channel, so every class and build I'm explaining right now is on my YouTube channel. So if you need a guide / build with a bit of gameplay as well in the other video, just browse to my YouTube channel. So basically, for Elementalist, the dagger Elementalist is, I'm not gonna say it's a must, but beware, a lot of top teams are gonna use a dagger Elementalist in their team. When it comes to thieves, thieves are superior when it comes to mobility. Their DPS is also quite high. Their sustain is not that good, but I have to make a point that you only need to take a thief in your team if the enemy team is having a thief as well. So if the enemy team does not have a thief, you can quickly change your thief for any other bunker / DPS class. Because when it comes to team fights, as a thief, it might be hard sometimes to not get focused on. So basically, having another bunkerish class / build into your team instead of the thief is a quite good idea as well, because it has more chance of surviving and it can stay on point unless the thief can. So a thief is only as good if the enemy team has a thief, because the only class that can counter a thief is a thief. That's the basic rule. So if the enemy team doesn't have a thief, you can either keep your thief because of its mobility, to decap far real fast, also to try to tag the enemy beasts like in Forest of Niflmap. The mobility is quite good. Also the Shadow Refuge might be good as well to res up. So that's totally up to you and the experience of your thief in your team. But you can also, like I said, consider any other class instead of a thief if the enemy team has no thief at all. Now for the 3rd class, the warrior. The warrior is pretty good and is a bit of a must when it comes to team arena. Now my favorite setup, in my opinion, is having 2 warriors in my team. One of them is the handball warrior, and the other one is the DPS warrior with the axe and the sword. But both of them are still a bit bunkerish. They still have quite bunkerish stats. Also the axe DPS warrior, you can also switch out the celestial amulet for the soldier amulet and it will still stay pretty effective as DPS. Do the might stacking and the eviscerate from the axe. So it's totally up to you. totally based on your experience with your warrior. So basically having two warriors inside one team isn't bad. Like I explained, with the elementalist there will be a top team with two elementalists, so two warriors isn't bad at all. But at least have one hambo, and if you still have a slot free, if you don't have condition engineer or whatever, use DPS warrior as well. Having two warriors in your team is not bad. Remember that, because there is this other top team, TCG. Mostly they run two warriors as well. So that's just so you know, having two warriors isn't bad, but they shouldn't be running the same build. So one should be Hambo and one should be DPS. Now the Guardian. The Guardian is a must-have when it comes to TPvP. And not as DPS, because this is my DPS Guardian actually. My support Guardian is right here, but it looks a bit silly. It might make you laugh and not pay attention at all. So I will be showing you this one. So basically when it comes to Team Arena, you must have a support Guardian with the normal support trait setup, which is 01661, I believe. So you always want to keep a support Guardian inside your team, because it will be thanks to your support Guardian, you will be able to win more team fights. If you don't have a support Guardian in your team and you are doing team fights versus an enemy team with a support guard, the chances are that you will probably lose the team fight, because you don't have the survivability on your own, while the enemy team does have the survivability, the cleansing, the stability, all they need from their support Guardian. So you always need a support Guardian inside your Team Arena team. So remember that. Always have a support Guardian in your team. It doesn't matter what, get it. Shadow Mesmers are pretty good as well. But I would suggest taking another DPS dealer when the enemy team has a thief. When the enemy team has a thief, like I said before, you do need a thief as well. So if you take a thief and a mesmer, which is perfectly possible as well, a lot of top teams have proved that this works as well. Your thief kinda needs to babysit on your mesmer, because the shadow mesmer is pretty squishy, and any experienced thief is able to take out any shadow mesmer because of its squishiness. So therefore, if your enemy team has a thief, your thief has to take in consideration that he needs to babysit a bit on the mesmer, so he needs to scare away that enemy thief most of the time when it comes to team fights. An engineer is pretty good as well. Doesn't matter what build. If you go turret build, which is the bunker build, it's perfectly good as a decapper as well. In the previous meta it was the pushback decap engineer with a rifle, with a lot of pushbacks through the mine and other stuff, but now we totally have another new decap meta, and it's also an engineer, which is the turret engineer with a lot of CC, a lot of sustain. You can even use the soldier runes and you still stay effective, so you might want to take a turret engineer into consideration to have it in your team. If you don't really have a second warrior as a bunker-ish guy as well, you might consider taking a turret engineer instead to assault far and keep far for a while with all his turrets, so he can hold up the enemy players a bit while your team is trying to get close and mid at the same time. So a decap turret engie is quite effective. It's a pain in the ass to fight again. I know it's easy, I know it's a face roll build, but it doesn't really matter if the build is easy or not. It does matter if it's effective or not in Team Arena, and it is effective, so it's into your consideration what you want to use. Now for the ranger, it really depends what builds he's using. If he's using a spirit ranger build, it's very good to have him inside the team fights along with the support guardian, so you will gain passive regen the Spirit Ranger even has also the elite to revive downed people, so that's pretty good as well. The Spirit Ranger is also quite bunkerish, and it deals a good amount of pressure when it comes to target focus because of its short bow with the bleeds on the auto attack. So the condition pressure is quite good on a Spirit Ranger. Now you can also go for the Beast Mastery build, which you can find on YouTube as well. I still have to make a video about Beast Mastery Ranger. You can use a Beast Mastery Ranger for as a close holder if you need someone to stay between close mid all the time to watch out and just report for incoming. A Beast Mastery Ranger might be a good idea when it comes to 1 versus 1 scenarios most. Now, as the last one, here's my silly Guardian again. As the last one, the Necro is pretty good as well. It's still pretty strong. You got 3 sorts of Necros, by the way. You got the Minion Master, the Condition Necro, and the Power Necro. In my honest opinion and my experience, as you can see on my YouTube channel, I only have the Condition Doomfire Necro build because that is, in my opinion, the most effective build when it comes to Team Arena. Now, a lot of people are underestimating Necro right now, but when it comes to team fights, if you can put extra condition damage in the fight as well, and extra CCs and whatnot, it's pretty good actually for pressuring the enemy, because the enemy's support Guardian has to waste his cooldowns a bit faster compared to you. So having a condition Necro is not a bad idea. But now, as the last thing I want to say, as a closure, my favorite composition in my opinion is having 1 support guard. As I said, that's a must. 1 support guard, 2 warriors, 1 Hambo, and 1 DPS with the X sword one. So you got 3 bunkerish actually, 1 thief, and 1 dagger elementalist. So you got 4 bunkers and 1 DPS, which is the thief. And as I said, if the enemy team does not have a team, it's totally up to you if you want to keep your thief for the mobility to TCAP 4, or if you want to change the thief for another bunker damage dealer, or maybe even the ranger right here, the condition ranger, or the condition Necro. That's perfectly possible. But if the team has a thief, you need a thief as well to counter theirs. That's it for my composition video, guys. If you have any questions, just send me an in-game mail or just whisper me if I'm online. I will answer you as fast as possible. You can also leave a comment with any questions whatsoever, or if you got additional tips for the other people, just leave a comment here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and even share if you want to. If you're just new into PvP together with your friends, it might be a good idea to check out my videos with the guides, with the builds and whatnot. And I will be focusing making more videos for tips for Team Arena. My next video will be covering the communication between the team members. See you guys.